Hi there, retro gaming fans. This is the Recycled Gamer again, and I'm showing off the next step of my prototyping of the Vectrex light pen. As you remember from last time, I'm using a plan available on playvectrex.com that I found, a circuit diagram, and I've located all the parts. I built my breadboard here, and I tested it successfully. So the next step is to make a board suitable in size for inserting into a pen-like object, and so that's what I've done here. And you can see a little slice of proto board I've taken, and I've soldered all the components on, and it's a bit of a mess. There's a lot of jumpers in there to try to get it to work. I didn't spend a lot of time placing the components for optimal wiring, so there are a lot of jumpers on the board, but you know, as you work through these projects you get a little better, and I'm hoping to make it a little more efficient. But I did want to show that this does indeed work. So you can see all the components on here. There's the phototransistor at the end, which is right, I'll use my file to point to this. That's the phototransistor. There are 3 resistors in the circuit, a small disc capacitor. There's an amplifying transistor right here. This is a little IC in which I'm using a Schmidt trigger NAND gate, and then this is a electrolytic capacitor at the end. And coming into the board from the Vectrex controller, the Vectrex provides +5 and -5 volts at the controller. We're using only the +5 for power. We're using the black wire at the top is the ground, and then the center wire is the wire that does all the work. It's senses the signal from the phototransistor and tells the Vectrex that there is light there or not. So I made this small enough to fit inside of a pen. In fact, the recommended case on the Play Vectrex website was a Expo 2 marker, which I went out and bought a few of these. That's what it looks like. You know, of course, you've probably seen these dry erase markers. And the cool part about them is that the bottom pops out, and you can just pull the marker tip out and pull out the insert. And you can see I made a mess here with some ink from that, but I got it out. And I was hoping to find something more interesting than just this marker case, but so far it works better than anything else I've tried. And you just kind of slide the board in there and it works. But I'm going to show it to you just loose like this. So let's go over to the Vectrex. Alright, I've got my camera kind of propped up here so you can see what I'm doing, and I can operate the buttons on the Vectrex at the same time. Alright, so you can see that I'm able to drag the cursor around. There's the board right there, so I can draw lines. Like such, and I can also use the sort of freeform mode to draw. The program I'm using here, it's a game cartridge called Art Master, and it gives you the ability to draw freeform designs. You can also, you'll notice if I get a little more detail if I keep the phototransistor closer to the screen. But the Art Master program allows you to draw on the screen as well as create some simple animations. And I'm using a multi-cart, which I bought on eBay, and I believe it's the Sean Kelly multi-cart version 1. You can find them around the net. Various people still make them, and they're really handy because you don't have to have every cartridge. You can get a lot of great games and homebrews on the same cartridge. If I had to build a bunch of these all by hand, which I've already got a bunch of friends who want them, I think it would take too long. So what I'm hoping to do is make a board that I can just drop the components into, solder the wires on, and I'm good to go. And so I've never done this before, but I went out and bought some copper-clad circuit board, and I'm going to give it a shot myself. There's a technique using toner from a laser printer where you can design your own board. And this is like a completely new world for me, but I'm going to give it a shot. You design your circuit in your computer, print it out on the board or on a piece of paper. You transfer that to this copper clad, and then you use a chemical like ferric chloride to dissolve away the copper that you don't want. And theoretically, when you're done, you're left with just the copper traces that you want. Alright, as I go through this process of building these boards, I'll post some more videos so you can see how it worked for me, and if I had any problems, if I learned anything from it, I'll be sure to share that. Thanks.